right, welcome to Let Freedom Ring. Before we start the show and I introduce my guest, I just want to take just a minute just to talk about the passing of Dave Mainzer, a legendary umpire for youth sports here in Nashua. He was great to all the kids and someone that truly I think the whole community is going to remember, and it's very sad. I can say when I was pitching in Bambino, Dave, I was having a hard time. I remember Dave taking me aside, which no umpire had ever done before, just to kind of talk to me and let me know that, that I know you're trying your best. So Dave will be remembered. Very sad day for the Nashua community. But welcome, my guest, Dave Galeo. And Dave, I know there's more to your last name than that. Can you explain how we actually say the whole name?
Yeah, it's Galeo Talanza. It's Italian.
Nice. I like it. And you actually have family in Italy too, correct?
I do, yeah. I have cousins over there. My grandfather was born in Naples. He actually fought World War II on the other side.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. All right. Well, a couple questions we ask every guest every week. The first question is, where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Winchester, spent a little time Woburn and Arlington, and then pretty much lived in Nashua my whole childhood and life. So Nashua, it's been a couple years up in Laconia for college, but pretty much New Hampshire.
Awesome. And what's one thing that everybody should know about you?
Oh, one thing. I'm a hard worker.
All right. Good. And what does it mean to you to be an American?
What freedom? Let's American means to be free. Living every day and not worrying about someone telling you how to live.
Now, I know that we're in tough times. A lot of people are starting to feel that they are being told how to live, but it is for reasons. It's not that it's not something typically happens in this country.
No, but I mean it's precautions right now. It is a crazy time that we live in right now. It's crazy. Just everything that's going on. You got to go out with a mask on now in public places in Massachusetts. I mean, but it's stuff we got to do to stay safe. I mean, it's weird. It's a weird time.
No, I agree, and I think that brings me to my next question, because we're going to go into current events. How has your life changed during COVID-19?
As far as everyday routines, waking up, going to work, coming home with the family, that hasn't really changed. But as I'm a pretty social person, I like to hang out with a lot of friends. We have cookouts. Haven't really been doing much of that lately. So that's the social life is definitely taking a back seat. But we have Xbox, we have Skype, we got Zoom. We got ways to manage in this century now.
That is true. I mean, definitely. What a time! I mean, not that you'd ever want a pandemic, but we're living at a time that at least we can still communicate with each other. I mean, other times in the history of this world, that wouldn't have happened.
No.
So
it would just be seclusion. You'd be looking at your four walls.
Yeah, exactly. The next question that I have to stick with current events going on: Jong Un, everybody's favorite dictator. Looks like he's not doing too good right now. Looks like he had some surgery now. This guy is he's about the same age as us. He's about 35, 36. Already having some heart problems over his diet, and I'm sure he smokes a lot of cigarettes. What he could possibly, from what they're saying, die. What do you think? What do you think of Jong Un, and what do you think the possibilities for North Korea if he were to pass away? I'm not sure who the successor is at this point.
Yeah, they're kind of on a never-ending battle anyway. You're never really gonna escape communism.
No.
So, but I mean, hey, karma's a bitch for that.
Yeah. Oh, well. I agree that.
Oh well, worst things could happen, I guess. I mean, you don't wish ill on anybody, but it's not like he's an outstanding individual.
Yeah, I think I said in the our sports group that I said, yeah, it feels weird to root for someone's death, but Kim Jong, um, some of the things that country has done, or some of the things he's done to his people, or the Kim dynasty has done, it doesn't. You never feel bad for them. Period. I don't know who the successor is. I've heard maybe he has a sister or an aunt, which a female leader of North Korea would be very interesting. Um, but either way, I don't wish him the best, and no,
I'm with
so
you on that train.
so we will see how that all plays out. But regardless of that, we also had some protests here in our state this weekend in Concord, where people want to open up the state, want to go back to normal. What did you think of the protesters? Do some of them have a point? Do some of them just trying to make a ruckus? What do you think?
If right now you're out of work and you're reeling, I feel for you. Like, I understand you. It's hard to live and not make money to be able to live. Like, everything costs money, food, house. So I mean, I understand for that, but at the same time, the unemployment has been they got that $600 sign-on bonus offer there, so they're trying to take care of people if they're out of work. I mean, it's not the best situation.
Nope.
But it's something. Yeah, I mean, everybody, hey, it's America, right? You got your freedom to do that. You got freedom of speech, but you got to think about the bigger picture. I mean, you got to think about everybody's well-being, not just going out and starting a riot because it's fun.
No, and I agree, and I felt, because I going off social media, all I really saw was people just calling these people idiots, and there were some. I think that happens with any protest you have.
Any group.
Yeah, and we obviously we don't want large groups right now, so that is something I have an issue with. But there are people really hurting now. The MAGA waving, gun toting, flag waving people, which I love waving the flag myself. But some of them, it's like, you're just trying to cause a ruckus because you don't like being told what to do. So I felt like it's kind of like, I don't want to bash those people. Some of them I do, but the ones that are really hurting, I think they just want their voices to be heard. And I totally, totally understand that.
I mean, they're not telling you can't leave your house. It's not like you're on complete lockdown. You're still an American citizen. You still have freedoms. But, just be smart about it. Wash your hands. Use hand sanitizer. Wear a mask if you're going into a store. I mean, it's not that you could catch it. It's the possibility of spreading it to someone maybe you love, or,
Yeah. No, you hit the nail on the head with that. I mean, it's not about, I know you and I were healthy 35-year-old men. Chances of us being this would be fine. It's really not about that. It's about spreading it to somebody that could be compromised.
Right.
So yeah, I wish they did. I feel like there's other ways they could have gone about that. So I would say I probably disagree with them how they handled that on Saturday.
Yeah, probably the majority of them were just there because it was something to do, and they've been cooped up in their house for 4 weeks.
I totally agree with that. Let's talk about something a little bit more fun. Going into pop culture right now, a lot of people are in their houses. They're quarantined. Any shows that you would recommend people binge watch?
Oh boy, well, let's see. Like, the last show I've been watched was Trailer Park Boys.
Oh yeah,
Canadian product. So
yeah,
that is always a hot recommend for me. Another good one would be Peaky Blinders, if you're into some good old gangster type shows.
Well, I mean, as you probably know, I'm a diehard Sopranos fan. I watch it almost every night. Now, where can you find Peaky Blinders?
That would be on Netflix.
Netflix, okay. Is it a newer show, or is it?
Yeah, it's
has it been out?
Newest. I think it's got a couple seasons.
Okay, I'll have to look into that because I definitely could use. As much as I just rewatched Sopranos, I probably could use a new show.
Yeah.
Any other ones that stick out of your mind?
That's about it. I've been filling most of my nights lately with the old Xbox. I
Yeah.
haven't really been watching too much TV, so
Understandable.
there's no sports on right now. It's killing me, Dano.
No,
that's my big go-to is sports. That's really all I watch. So it's
well,
been a
we're
lull
gonna
for me.
well, we're gonna have some golf. Not that I've ever been a fan of golf, but that sounds like that's coming back.
Hey, I will watch it.
I would too. I definitely, and I've never been into golf in my life.
Yeah.
But what are your, sticking on that, because obviously people have time to watch movies. What are your 5 favorite movies of yours?
5 favorite movies. We'll go. They're pretty much all sports movies. We'll go.
Perfect.
Sandlot is number 1.
Okay.
Little Giants number 2.
Okay.
Probably have to go Talladega Nights number 3.
If you're not first, you're last.
Yep. We'll end the last one with a classic, Half Baked.
Half Baked. That's interesting you brought that up, because I remember I probably saw that for the first time in '98 when it first came out. But I really watched a lot in like 2001. I remember telling people, this guy Chappelle, he might be the funniest guy out there. And this was before Chappelle's show really broke out, I should say, where you just could tell this guy had a knack for comedy. Like that, he is that movie. I mean, who else is in it? Jim
Brewer.
Jim Brewer was great in it. I don't remember the other actor, but Chappelle always stood out.
Yeah, he's a classic comedian. I look for the funny movies. I like to laugh.
I'm with you. I love that you brought up Little Giants too, because a lot of people mention Sandlot. I think everybody loves the Sandlot. I mean, as a kid, it was so relatable, because most of us would go in our street, we get a tennis ball and a bat, and we go play in the street. And then,
you come home when the street lights are on.
Yeah, those were the days. But Little Giants, what an underrated, not talked about as much movie.
It's one of my all-time favorites, man. I will sit down and watch that movie anytime.
I definitely need to get my hands on that, because I thought Ed O'Neill was great in it. Rick Moranis was great in it. That was one of Rick Moranis', I would say, last movies he did. He retired because his wife passed away. Yeah.
Yeah, that was after the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids there.
Yeah, that's another great one. I remember growing up on that.
Yep.
But yeah, no, those are great movies to talk about. But let's get into stuff that I know that you really want to talk about. And we're keeping a Kansas City theme today, because I know you're a big fan. I got my George Brett, I got my George Brett Hall of Fame bobblehead. I'm a big George Brett fan. I believe there it is. Oh, there's Mahomes. That he's good. He's real good.
Magic, man.
Now, Brandon Doherty had asked this question on Facebook. Who are your top 5 all-time Chiefs?
All right, we'll start at the back. We'll start at 5. And I'll work my way down. 5, it's a big name, but before Mahomes, who's the last guy who got us to the Super Bowl, I'm going to go Joe Montana.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right there. 4, I'm going to go a little out of the norm. We're going to go offensive lineman. He's really big into the community still. We're going to go Will Shields.
Okay.
Big Chief, yep. And then, let's see, 3. So this is where it started. It got tough for me. I had to go 3, Len Dawson, because of the iconic photo at Super Bowl. The Coke between the legs, smoking the cigarette. Awesome.
That is an iconic photo. Truly iconic.
2, Priest Holmes.
Yes. Okay.
And 1, we got to go Mahomes Magic. He brought us the trophy.
So he's already your number 1 guy. Yeah.
I can't go any other way. MVP first season, Super Bowl second season. The sky is the limit now. I mean, I have never been more excited to be a Chiefs fan than right now.
And it's crazy, because he graduated high school in what, 2014? Like that was
Yeah.
when I saw that, I was like, damn, that kid's young.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe we're just getting old. I don't know. But
We are getting old.
I like the Montana reference. Montana, obviously, that's it's because now we're seeing that kind of with Tom. Even though Tom Brady's much older, I think, than Montana was when he retired. But a guy you never thought you'd see in another uniform. And
God, am I excited to watch this though. Gronk says, "Hey, I'm coming back, baby. Let's make magic."
Yeah, it's definitely going to be. It's definitely interesting. We'll get in. We're going to definitely talk about that.
Right.
It's been a weird feeling because with Brady, Gronk not as much as Brady. Brady was here for about 20 years. Gronk was here for 10. So I mean, it's very lengthy times that they were here. So, all right, next question, because Brandon had another question. How many times have you rewatched the Super Bowl?
I have rewatched the Super Bowl 8 times.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And it was just as good the 8th time as it was the first time. It brings a tear to my eye. I could watch it a 9th time and I'll still cry.
Yeah, no, honestly, I will say it was a very entertaining Super Bowl overall.
Playoffs, the whole playoffs. I mean,
Playoffs,
just every game, now we'll go down 24, now we'll go down 10. We just kept coming back and finding a way.
Well, that Texans game. Now, was that wasn't the conference final, was it?
No, that was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
right
game
after wild card. Yeah, that was right.
Okay. Yeah. When the Patriots lose, they lost wild card.
The Tennessee.
Yeah. So it was the next weekend. Yep. I was at that game. What a way to go out, Tommy. What a way to go out. Yeah, that game against the Texans, that was pretty wild because everybody, I don't even remember what the score was after the first quarter, but it was pretty large deficit.
It was 24-0. I was watching with a couple of Pats fans. All my buddies are Pats fans, so they were razzing me. One of my buddies actually was wearing one of my Chiefs jerseys, and I made him take it off. I was like, nope. And I buried it behind the couch, and it stayed there for the whole playoff.
Yeah, I mean,
superstitious like that,
Oh, I totally get it. I mean, as a Patriots fan, I feel every time I host, they've won. Anytime I've gone to someone else's, they've lost, and I don't know.
2 Giants Super Bowls are on you.
Well, okay, I guess those are so far back because the first Giants loss, I was in college and we hosted. Okay. So I guess technically, and then the next time, yeah, that was a crazy time because I was in college at the time, and when they lost the Giants, right? I remember I went outside and we had a friend. I'm just going to use his nickname, Scooter. He's a little bit crazy. And we went outside and he kicked snow because he was so mad. And it hit this girl. And the girl says, "Hey, you just kicked snow at me." And Peter goes, "Yeah, so?" She goes, "You're not going to apologize?" He goes, "No." She goes, "Well, if you don't apologize, I'm going to get my boyfriend." He goes, "Get your effing boyfriend."
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm sitting here going like, "Oh God, here we go." I said, "Dude, you're on your own. You started this. I'm not backing you up. You should have apologized." The guy comes out and he's like, "Can you just apologize to my girlfriend? Like, we're all having a bad night here." He goes, "F you and F her too." And this kid just cracks him. And then they go at it. It breaks up. And at one point it came back. Kid knocked him out, whatever. What made the story more interesting was about an hour later, we get a knock on our door, and it's our friend Brian. And Brian goes, "Hey," and this is a kid I've known. I grew up in the same neighborhood. I've known him my whole life. He goes, "Hey, that was our friend Damon. He didn't know who Peter was. He wouldn't have knocked him out if he did. He didn't know we were all friends." So, I kid you not, this is typical college. And the kid came over, and him and Peter, after he had knocked him completely unconscious, they smoked weed together that night.
Hey, break bread, man.
That's what went on at Plymouth State.
That's the best way to squash the beef.
Yeah, so those were very. And then the second one, Yeah, that was tough. That was very tough.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the only ones they lost in the Brady era when they've been there, that's the
Dude,
Philadelphia too. Philadelphia.
their run has been nothing short of historical, and it's going to last in the record books for a long time.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I don't know where it goes from here. I took a bet from someone the other day because I just said they wanted a $50 bet saying, if the Patriots lose the division, I owe $50. If they win I get $50. I said, okay, you have a 75% chance, but I'll take the bet. Defend the wall, whatever.
Yeah.
But hey, so what are some of your favorite Kansas City Royals of all time?
Oh, well, George Brett, number one. For the New England connection, I'll throw Saberhagen on that list somewhere.
Oh, Brett Saberhagen, yeah. All right.
Really big fan of Mike Moussac. That whole team, that whole World Series team was just one that I'll remember for a long time. Moustakis, Hosmer, drawing a blank. Paulo Orlando on that team. There was just Cruz in the outfield. Oh, Alex Gordon. How can you not mention Alex Gordon? I mean, wow. His whole career in Kansas City, stand-up guy. Really good ball player, too. Really good ball player.
Yeah, the Royals, because I always thought, growing up, I mean, the Royals have been good really probably right before we probably started watching baseball. Was George Brett. I forget when he retired.
Right when I was born. They won in, 86 or 85?
Was it 85, I think.
I was born in July. They won it in October,
Yeah. So it was fun seeing the Royals get back to that. Which it's crazy because the Red Sox fans, we had waited so long. I mean, really, when you think about it, the Royals fans didn't really have to wait
not 80
as
years,
long.
86 years. Yeah, no, definitely not.
No.
That curse kind of stuck with me for a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely did. What did you think of, not it's sticking on baseball, but what did you think of the Red Sox punishment? They lost second round pick and that employee suspended for a year.
But I believe Cora was only suspended for his actions for what he did in Houston, not for what he did in Boston, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, with this whole COVID thing going on, if there even is a season, I wouldn't be surprised to see Cora back at the helm in 2022 if his suspension is valid for a canceled season. I mean, I don't know if they'll push it out another year. Well, it's going to be a crapshoot. I don't even know what to expect for all sports schedules. Football, are there going to be people in the stands, or is it just going to be all televised?
I have a feeling that there won't be.
If it was all televised, the ad revenue that leagues will be able to get, you'll have everybody watching. There won't be anybody in the stands, so there'll be money to be made for leagues anyway. No,
that's for sure. I mean, some people thought the Red Sox got off really easy, and then a lot of people were trying to compare it to what the Astros did, and that's like the part
everybody did it though, I mean, it's a part of baseball. I mean, you always look to see, even in Babe Ruth, you always look to see what they're trying to do. You learn it at a young age. It's part of that gamesmanship, competitive edge, I'd say. Now, but when you got the video replay guy sending you stuff down, that's another level, right? I mean, that's when you bring technology into it, not just eyes. I guess that's where you draw the line.
Well, the Astros were so elaborate in how they did everything. They literally knew every pitch.
There was banging on trash cans and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't want to put the Red Sox in that. A lot of people think they got a slap on the wrist. I don't think that came from, if Cora was found to do no wrong, then I got to wonder why even punish them. Who is this guy? I don't know.
Yeah, it was just the video replay guy lost his job, right?
Yeah, well, he's only suspended a year. Yeah, and they lost.
That's what it is.
And they didn't lose a first round pick; they lost a second round pick. So,
right. And baseball pretty deep anyway in drafts.
It,
So.
it is. Yeah.
They draft kids at 16, so you got to wait a while for your return on investment.
You're right on that. I remember kids getting drafted even at Nashua High when when it's like, wait a second, you're gonna draft kids. You haven't proven enough in high school. I guess the NBA's done that, but whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. A lot of people think they got up easy. I just think there was not as much to see there. If President Trump can say that he's completely vindicated, I'm going to say the Red Sox are. Thoughts on the so 2015 World Series. That's where the Royals did it. How were you feeling during that time? What did you think? Because obviously they were in it the year before.
They were so close.
And it was the Giants. Madison Bumgarner was still in his prime at that point, and that was a bummer. But then they were able to pull it off the very next year.
They went right back. That team had magic. I don't know if they were necessarily the most talented group, but they had chemistry. They had the locker room. They had each other's backs, and you could tell they played like it. And they got hot at the right time, and they just never looked back. I was in Kansas City when they played the A's in the play-in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was down there. We went to the Monday night, my honeymoon. My wife and I went.
Oh, no way!
Arrowhead for the Monday night game that the Chiefs won 41-14.
Yeah.
And then the next night we went to the Royals game, so it was pretty fun.
That's it sounds like she's okay with the Kansas City fandom then.
Yeah. Oh, she's diehard Pats though. She will not. Yeah. If the Patriots are on, she's not rooting for Kansas City, but for house peace, she roots for Kansas City when no New England teams are on.
Hey, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
I let her have
it. I mean, I've always been like that too, especially with friends and stuff. Like, I'll root for other people's teams. Like, someone's got to win, someone's got to lose. So
that's it.
What do you think? Do you think that because we've kind of touched upon it, but do you think we will see? And now we've talked that golf's coming back, but do you think that we are going to see sports in 2020?
I do think we're going to see some. I've been following the NHL kind of closely, and they've been talking about bringing players back for like a 3-week mini camp. They got to get a minimum of 76 games in, and then they'd start the playoffs and go till about August, and then start the new season in November. I've also heard the NBA saying they might change their schedule of their year completely and start games on Christmas Eve and go to August. So they might change their whole time of their season. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how everybody comes back to the real world after Corona's threat has dissipated a little bit.
No, that's true, and I think if the NBA or NHL wanted to go to, because I've heard that maybe going to certain states and finishing out. I feel like they have an advantage over MLB because MLB hadn't even started yet. How do you have 162 games
starting in June?
Yeah, I just can't. And I love baseball probably more than any other sport. I just can't see it. I want it to happen. I want to watch it. I'll watch it without fans. I just can't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, as far as baseball goes, I mean they're running on a clock. You only got so many calendar days in a year, and if you're going to try to play 162 games, you got to at least have 162 days left, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do as far as getting a season, but I just don't see the revenue in stadiums right now. It's going to be all down to TV deals, really.
Yeah. But if you put sports on right now, everybody is going to watch it. Everybody.
Ratings are going through the roof. There's nothing live happening right now.
You're
watching shows.
WWE is live.
They are live. All right. I'm sorry.
But they're going to stop doing that, even though it's kind of questionable what they're doing and backdoor deals.
What's I heard UFC. Were they going to Florida? I heard the island got bought out by somebody else.
Yeah, I think Florida. Well, Florida made sports essential, so if
Yeah.
baseball wanted to go there, they could. Obviously, the WWE is going. I think UFC will get a fight in at some point in Florida, or if they've already. Dana White's got to be lose. You know, he doesn't have any hair to lose, so, but he's he's got to be stressing out about this because he's definitely taking a big hit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm really bummed about the XFL too, because we had a good rivalry going. You know, my brother Bobby
right
and you were Battlehawks fans, Defender fans. I got to see the last game, I guess, ever. You know.
What is this? Every time, we get into the AAF and then the
rug
gets ripped out from underneath us. XFL rug gets ripped out from underneath us. It's never ending.
We just can't get that second tier football league that we're just
NFL
dying for.
Is behind it all. I'm telling you. That's my conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, I will admit I was so bummed when the AAF didn't work out because that was a blast. I was having fun watching that.
It's great. I mean, just to have another outlet for America's new pastime. I mean, baseball always was America's pastime, but the way things have changed, I mean, NFL is taken front and center. I mean, it's caused a lot of controversy too. Not a lot
big
of
time.
moms and dads want their kids playing football either. So
no, yeah, with CT and everything, but it is so like that spring football. There is something to it because I'll be honest, I'll watch some NHL, watch some NBA in that time, but I'm really just waiting for the playoffs to start.
Yeah,
that football league going from like February to April was just an extra thing.
Awesome time filler. It was very entertaining too.
Yeah,
and the Chiefs got a backup quarterback out of it. We don't have to deal with Chad Henne anymore.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, a lot of players did make it. I hope someone buys the league because I heard if someone can buy it by July, then maybe we'll continue. Because damn, I want that spring football.
Any league that has beer snakes needs to exist.
Oh my god, I totally agree with that. All right, next question. Thoughts on Gronk signing with Tampa Bay?
All right, it's hey Tommy, you got any room under the wing, Tommy? I need to come back. Yeah, awesome move for Belichick. He got rid of a 7th round pick and a player that was never going to play for them again for a 4th round pick, which in this draft is pretty deep. So it's almost like a 3rd round pick because you can get some 3rd round talent in the 4th round here. Oh, which tonight? NFL draft.
That's true. 8. Yeah, that's what time does it start? 8:00?
8:00.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be keeping an eye on that. The draft is a lot of fun. A lot of times I find myself going, okay, because I love Notre Dame's my team, and a lot of times when people get drafted and it's not Notre Dame, I go, I'm not sure what like the big names in college football, right. But some of the other ones you're like, who is this guy and why is he good? So
unfortunately, I'm in a dynasty fantasy football league, so we do rookie only drafts.
Oh,
so
jeez.
I have to know who these guys are. We keep our whole team, and we only draft. We have a 4-round rookie only draft. So
oh my god.
Yeah, so I gotta be the football nerd, and study all these players.
Well, now I know who to go to if I need these questions answered. I'll ask you about. I'll have to fill me in on all the Pats picks. So.
All right. Yep. Definitely. They need a quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the Stidman kid. We'll see, but
as long as he doesn't keep throwing pick sixes to the Jets, you guys will be
all
right.
Well, it's hard to know, until you actually get in the groove of it and do your thing. Like, because I remember when Brady. Yeah.
I was gonna say, and he'll have a full year as a starting quarterback going through training camp, so he'll be taking all the reps. He'll probably feel a little more comfortable than he did coming into a game.
Straight up, the year that Matt Castle had, never saw that coming. When Brady went down, I said, "All right, the season's a wash." And
my Chiefs.
Yeah. And then you got a quarterback out of it. We groomed Castle, and then he went to who did he go to? He went to the Chiefs.
The Kansas City Chiefs. He just didn't do quite as good as he did with Belichick.
No, what a weird year, but honestly, it was a fun football year because this is going to sound weird and sound just ridiculous as a sports fan, but being a Patriots fan over the years, the winning's always so expected. So that year without Brady, it makes it more interesting when you're not always expected to win.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
More entertaining value. Like you didn't know. It was worth watching every week. Like with Brady, it's like, all right, we're gonna win the division. We're gonna go to the Super Bowl. We might win, we might not win, but we're gonna be there. You know?
Yeah. As weird as that sounds, because I'm sure there's Browns fans out there going like, take it back. You know, but it's true. It's the thing about sports is sometimes it is fun to have that guessing game whether, you know, is my team going to win? Is it not going to win?
It's going to be fun to watch how it evolves. I mean, you've been there. I mean, you were a fan before they had Brady, so you knew how bad they were before. You've been there in the low times. You've been there for 20 years, the high times. And now, you know, now it's going to be interesting to see how they build and go forth.
Well, I will say in my lifetime, they weren't like, because, you know, we had Bledsoe by the time I was already like 10 years old.
96, right? They went to the
94 draft. Yeah, they went to, so they got him in 94. They went to the Super Bowl 96 season, 97 Super Bowl. So, you know, at that point, that's pretty good to make it there.
It was. Remember that hole Desmond Howard ran through?
Oh, yeah.
Max truck through that.
Dude, it was Reggie White owned the fucking Pats that night.
He owned everybody.
You know,
his whole career. He was a force.
He was damn good. It was, you know, but like even when Pete Carroll came, now these are all things that are more hazy because they're part of my childhood. So it's like Carroll, I don't remember him being totally awful. All I ever thought was he had, you know, wow, this guy looks so young, and he still looks young. But then then Belichick, yeah, like he looked like the California kid. He always has. But it's tough because honestly, it'll be see how. I mean, if they start losing now, because never in my adult life, they won this. They won that Super Bowl when I was 17 years old. So it's like, you know, we'll have to see. It's hard to look back at like the late 90s and really remember what it was like. Even with the Red Sox, like I can kind of remember that. Like
Mike Greenwell.
Greenwell, Nomar. Nomar's going to come up tonight too. So, but let's move into politics.
Boy.
What does it mean? Now you're a libertarian. Can you tell us what it means to be a libertarian? We've never actually talked about this topic on this show before.
I don't really identify with the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. I really like the control of a big government, like owing the government all your money that you make and work for. I understand that taxes need to happen. You know, there needs to be teachers need to get paid somehow. Money can't just come from nowhere. You know, it's just, so society, the way society is formed, the government today, it's just you know.
No, I get it. I mean, I lean left. I don't lie about that. But I don't really see myself as a Democrat either. And I don't like to align with either one of those parties because I think both those parties they hinder us a lot and they just cause division. I've always been interested though in libertarians because I do think it's a very unique thing where they're kind of on both sides. But I would say would you say libertarians kind of lean more conservative overall?
I mean, on some things, I wouldn't go like the whole religious. I'm not far right. Like I don't care if you believe in God or if you don't believe in God. You know, like, if you like guys, you like guys. If you like girls, you like girls. Whatever. Like it doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me. Basically, I'm just more like if I have an issue, I'd rather handle it myself than have like 30 cops show up. You know? You know?
So I mean, essentially, it's just limited. It's more of a limited government idea, essentially, which I don't disagree with. I don't like the government getting into my business ever. So I totally understand that. Now Joe Biden now has a Democratic nomination. Who do you think he should pick as a running mate if you were to pick somebody? And you don't have to stay traditional. It doesn't even have to be a Democrat. You could be someone that you want to see him take.
He needs more help. I don't know. That guy creeps me out. I mean, let's put it this way. Like, I've been through Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump. I mean, it doesn't. I just like being free and being an American.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, whoever they decide to run the organization is what. They're just the face. Like, there's a lot of people behind it that make the decisions. You know.
No, it's true.
The cabinet. It's a very deep layered organization. That's what I would call it.
No, I agree with that. I mean, honestly, I don't know who he's going to pick. I think if he really wants to win, and some people disagree with me on this, and that's fine. I think you should pick Bernie because you would have
Bernie.
I think you would have both. I think you'd have both their supporters coming together. You would make, because I think a lot of the Bernie bros, not just, but just his supporters in general, which I have voted for Bernie Sanders just because I think he's been consistent. But I just think that that'd be the ideal running mate because you will get his people to come out. Hopefully, they didn't really come out for him the way we thought they would in the primaries. I guess he could take Elizabeth Warren, maybe Kamala Harrison. Because he did say he wants to pick a woman. I just hope he's smart about it, and they don't get another lame duck like Hillary had with Tim Kaine, who was the lamest pick.
What about Tulsi Gabbard there?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny, a lot of conservatives like her. That might not be a bad pick for him if he wants to pick a woman. Because if you're really, if you want to beat Trump, you might have to really think outside the box here.
Yeah.
Because fighting that electoral college is always a tough thing.
Oh, that might, yeah. How are your thoughts on that? Do you think that should be changed? Do you think they should eliminate the electoral college and just go on popular mode? Or?
See, I've had a lot of heated arguments about this, and because people are like, well, then one state. I honestly believe this, and a lot of people probably disagree with this, and they can watch this and disagree. My vote should count just as much as a person in South Dakota, California, Texas, whatever. Do I live in an area because what they say is like, well, then California would own the election. Okay, so they're still American citizens. So you're just saying that a lot of people in California think alike. What does that matter? I just never understood that argument. I think everybody's vote should count equally when it comes to the president because you elect your senators and your House of Representatives people, but the president represents everybody. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think it's a weird system to try to wrap your head around and figure out. I mean, it's supposed to be an individual right.
Yeah.
To vote, not a group right to vote.
Well, that's what it becomes. It becomes a group right because
right.
Now you're like, well, New Hampshire, you're not as worth it as Texas.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
You get 3 points.
Yeah. All right. But that Texas citizen they're still a U.S. citizen just like I am. And trust me, people will come up with reasons to shred this argument. I'm still not going to agree with them. And I could come up with ways to shred theirs. And that's just how people go. The Electoral College, it sparks up so much emotions for whatever reason.
It's a heated topic.
It really is. Briefly, have you been watching the Trump press conferences?
I've been catching some of the highlights here and there.
Yeah.
Animated. He has the way with the press, huh? He's a man of words.
he truly does hate them. He truly does hate them.
Oh god, it's entertaining though.
I just don't want it entertaining right now, but
no.
It is a train wreck that you can't stop watching.
No, it's something.
So
they need to make the words on the teleprompter a little bigger for him, so he doesn't so much.
Yeah, agreed. That brings me into my favorite segment of the show. Blank versus blank. I'm going to give you 2 words. One of these is actually going to be 3 this week, but I'm going to give you 2 words, 2 things. You got to pick one or the other and tell me why. I know you participate in both of these rec sports. Floor hockey or softball?
I'm gonna pick softball.
See, real? All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have played at the Y before. I suck at hockey, so I stopped because
I picked softball because I retired from hockey.
Oh, all right. Understandable. George,
run around.
well, now I've seen pictures. Were you a goalie?
I was, yeah, for quite some time, yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
And
it's a lot harder on floor than it is on ice. You can't move quite as freely. The ice helps you out a little bit, you know.
Understandable.
My wife didn't skate, so I started playing floor hockey.
That's fair. Fair enough. There's an easy one. George Brett or Robin Yount for you?
George Brett.
Sure.
Yeah,
I figured that would. I'd go George Brett too. Yeah. You like both of these things, but you could only pick one to keep. I know you like guns, and I know you like motorcycles.
Oh.
You can only pick one.
Motorcycles.
Okay. Yeah. Because you can get out and moving on those.
Oh, dude, it's freedom. There's no better feeling than just hopping on two wheels and riding. And not having to go anywhere, but just not wanting to go home, you know? Just being out on two wheels, cruising is the best feeling in the world. I wouldn't give that up for anything.
Awesome. All right. Now, two libertarians, I'd say one was more Ron Paul or Rand Paul?
Oh, boy. Let's go Ron Paul, because I remember that election, and I did give him my vote.
I would agree on that. I would take Ron Paul. I don't care for Rand Paul. I think he's kind of sold out to the Republicans quite a bit.
Yeah, he's a little fake and flaky for my liking.
I'd have to agree with that. Rap or rock?
Rap.
I'd agree with that too. Yeah, I think we've seen. I mean, growing up in the '90s, we saw the era of hip hop that was probably hard to top.
There's no better storyteller than Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah.
Little Frank White will get the mood right.
I agree with that. I love me some Biggie. All right, now you have to pick one. Now we're gonna go back to 1997 here, because back then there was 3 young shortstops that everybody was talking about or liked. Only one of them is going to the Hall of Fame, believe it or not, which I didn't think that would happen. But if you had to pick in 1997, not now, but in 1997, Nomar Garciaparra, Derek Jeter, or Alex Rodriguez?
Wow. That is a heck of a class, huh?
Yeah. I was like, they were the 3 shortstops that, everyone wanted to be like as kids,
Yeah. Absolutely. Jeter just did it for so long, but 97, not knowing what I know now. Yeah, I'd have to take Garciaparra because it was way funner to say his name.
Dude, he'd do all that.
Oh, the glove thing?
Yeah.
It used to drive my grandmother batshit crazy. She hated it. Would you just get in the box and hit the ball? She used to freak out at him all the time.
Oh my goodness. I mean, as a kid growing up, everybody loved Nomar so much. Even if you were, I'm sure even if you were a Royals fan in this area, you probably liked Nomar. Everybody did.
Yeah. It was tough. Like following the Royals when you're a kid, we didn't have the outlets we have now.
No, definitely didn't.
And so I watched a lot of Red Sox baseball, but like I also really liked George Brett, that Pine Tar game, and like that was the year I was born, and it stuck with me, So like
I have so many pictures of that bat. I've gone to Cooperstown about 9 times.
Oh,
maybe. And every time I go, I take a picture of the Pine Tar bat because. I remember I must have been home on a rainy Sunday when I was a kid and saw the highlights from that game, and I was like, I didn't know George Brett was that cool. Like, he didn't take crap from anybody.
He was a badass. He was.
And
that was what baseball was like. And it's not like that anymore. It's all about making that money, guaranteed paychecks.
And they keep changing the game, and I don't
I
like
can't.
that.
Just they gotta leave it alone, man. It's perfect the way it was. Don't get me
I
with these pitch clocks. I don't want no ghost runner on second.
no,
Like I can't,
no, God
you
no.
know, can't do this stuff,
There's a
man.
way the game's supposed to be played.
Yep. And it's written in the history books. So you're not supposed to be able to change that.
Yeah. No, agreed. All right. Well, I probably know what you're going to pick here, but I'm going to ask it anyways. When people talk about the two best tight ends, they talk about these two names: Tony Gonzalez or Rob Gronkowski.
All right. So, I mean, that obviously I got to put my Chiefs bias aside here. Gonzalez was really good for a really long time for a couple of organizations. But Gronk changed the way the tight end position was played. He kind of revolutionized the position almost. You know, after him, you see the George Kittles, you see the Travis Kelce's, you know, you see the guys coming up, and it's all that model: big, aggressive, fast, agile. I mean, Gronk really paved the way for the way tight end position's played now.
Yeah, I honestly do think it's a hard question to ask, because and it sparks a lot of debate, because when Gronk first retired, everybody said Gronk's the GOAT, but then there was the argument that goes, no, Tony Gonzalez is better than him. I'll probably pick Gronk. I've seen his body of work more, so that's probably unfair because I watched him week in and week out. But I think that is a good debate for people to have, you know. Here's a good one though.
Got an elbow sneeze now, you know.
Yeah, no, it's the only way to do it. Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders? Talk about great running backs here.
Wow, you know, I just wish Barry Sanders could have played a little longer. Like,
yeah,
we just, you know, he was smooth, the best cuts ever. But as a child from the 90s, and, you know, everyone had a Cowboys starter jacket, I got to go Emmitt Smith. The guy was just a machine. Like, the 22, everybody, I had a Cowboys Emmitt Smith jersey.
Yeah.
I didn't even like the Cowboys, but you go into Ames, and that's all they had was Cowboy stuff, you know?
See, like when also when growing up, like, it felt like a lot of people had to pick between the Niners and Cowboys. Like,
Yeah.
I never had a shirt or a jersey of either one of them, but I think I always picked the Niners. For some reason, I just didn't like the Cowboys. Like, say it's weird or whatever, because a lot of people are like, oh, you like the Bills. I was always rooting for the Bills when they played the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. They were the underdogs.
Maybe you should have rooted for Dallas.
Yeah, you know.
The Bills would have won one.
But I think Emmitt Smith, he won. He didn't just disappear after football. I think Barry Sanders was just like, I got stuck in Detroit, and I don't ever want to be seen again.
He could have blown every record out of the water. No one would have been able to ever touch it.
Yeah.
He just didn't play long enough, in my opinion. I would have liked to see him play a couple. I mean, but then again, running back's a tough position. You know, you take a lot of wear and tear. I mean,
imagine if Bo Jackson never got hurt.
Oh, wow. I mean, he played for the Royals and take the night. The Raiders. Why?
Yeah.
Why the Raiders? Yeah. No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But he was a machine. Man. I don't know if there's a better athlete ever.
That's 100% what I was just gonna say. Yeah. I think he's the greatest athlete of all time. Period.
Because he was good at both. I mean, Dion did it, but not like Bo did it.
Yeah. If he doesn't get hurt, he's in one of those Hall of Fames.
Maybe both. You know?
Yeah, which would have been
that's scary to think about.
Yeah. All right, Mahomes how old is he? 24 right now. Mahomes, how old is he?
Yeah, 23, 24.
All right. So Mahomes at 24 or Brady at 24?
Mahomes.
He's more mobile.
I've never seen Brady complete a left-handed pass.
Yeah, I think. I mean, for Mahomes to be the GOAT,
He's got to do it.
We'll have to see his body of work over the years.
Yeah.
At 24 years old, he's definitely more athletic than Tom Brady was.
The talent level, yeah. I mean, maybe not the smarts wise. Tom Brady had it. He could really think. Like Mahomes said, he just figured out how to really read defenses last year. So I mean, but as far as raw athlete and just making something out of nothing, this kid will just do. My jaw just drops some of the plays he makes. I'm just like, how the hell did he hit that guy downfield?
As just a fan of the game, it's just a lot of fun to watch him. I'd say at 24, then he probably is the better of the two athletically. Now, a lot of people say Mahomes could possibly be the GOAT someday. That's going to take a lot to get to the level that Tom Brady did. It's going to take a long time, but it's also going to take one thing. He can't get seriously hurt.
No. All right, so it's going to take at least 5 more things. For him to be compared to Brady here. I mean, they set the bar for how for organizational success. Everybody, you're going to try to run your business like the New England Patriots do it because they were so successful for so long. And I mean, that's not just living here. I mean, I see it. Like the fan base, everything. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how they go without Brady now. I mean, I'm just as excited to watch Pats fans as I am to watch Brady in Tampa.
Well, now let me ask you something. If you're gonna be if someone's gonna W the greatest of all time in a sport, and I do believe Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, do you have to have the numbers and the championship? Or what if you just had the best numbers? It doesn't matter the sport. Like, what dictates you're the greatest? Do you have to have the wins on top of that?
I think the astronomical numbers, like always, are great, but every sport across the board, if you don't have the hardware to back it up, what'd you play for? The whole reason you play is to win, right?
Yeah.
So I gotta say, championships play a big role in a player's success into getting into a Hall of Fame, to be recognized forever.
Because I think when you look at the 4 big sports, and if I'm wrong, correct me, I think this is how people look at the GOATs. Brady in football, Jordan in basketball. Now, Bill Russell doesn't really have – I think – but I mean, I like LeBron, but I will admit Jordan's the best. A lot of people would say, though, on top of that, Bill Russell had the more titles, but the league was very different. So I'd say I think they go Brady, Jordan. Hockey, I think they go Gretzky. I don't know. Am I wrong on that? I'm not sure.
I mean, it's either. I mean, a lot of people say Gretzky or Crosby. I mean, but Gretzky was good because he had a lot of protection.
Yeah.
That hockey was different back then too.
Well, and that always gets into debates because my last player to be named here in MLB, the GOAT's Babe Ruth, is what everybody always says. And now you're going back a long time, but most people stick to that. He is the greatest baseball player that ever lived.
He hit, he pitched, he played. He was good, man. I mean, Babe Ruth he's a legend. He's a legend. I mean,
and all those players have numbers. They're not the best in every category, but they have the numbers and they have the championships. So I don't know the GOAT debate always is interesting because it's a hard thing to debate.
If you're gonna be determined as the greatest, you got to win, or else you're not that great.
No, I agree with that. That's why you can't say Ken Griffey Jr. is the best baseball player because he never won anything.
But goddamn, was he awesome!
Loved him, absolutely loved him.
Great player.
All right, our last blank versus blank. It's usually the toughest one. but you have to pick Kansas City Royals or Kansas City Chiefs. You can only keep one.
We're keeping the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think. Now you're more of a football guy. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love my Royals. Don't get me wrong. I'll never root for the Cardinals, but football it's just something about football season. Sundays, just hanging out. You get TV on, football's on. It's life, basically. It's
football owns a whole day of the week. That's the thing.
Oh, it sure really does. And plus, we got a lot riding on it. I'm in like 5 fantasy leagues. Plus, I do the DraftKings. It's almost like a second income season for me.
See, I think baseball was always my thing growing up, so I usually always pick that. But I also love the summer more than any other time. So I love like just sitting around, baseball in the background, even if and you're. That's a tough pick, but I totally understand it. I totally understand taking that.
That's one of the best things about baseball is you don't have to devote yourself to 9 innings in front of the TV. You can have it on in the background and still know what's going on in a game. It's great to listen to. You can be outside hanging by the pool. Baseball is the one sport that you can listen to on the radio, and you can almost see it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. No, I respect the pick, but Dave, I appreciate you coming on the show today. We had a lot of fun. And I want everybody that's watching, be safe, be smart, and we're in tough times, but hopefully there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Wear your face mask and don't kiss nobody.
Yeah, exactly. But until next time, continue to let freedom ring.